Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. So today we grabbed one of the random alpha binders. I know. Everybody's yelling at me to do an IC manipulator reveal video. We'll get to that. But today we grabbed a random alpha binder. I think this is binder number 3 of 5. So what this binder is let me adjust the camera for you guys. This is a long time ago. This is a binder of alpha cards sorted by, obviously set, just alpha, and then sorted by color. So this binder starts with the reds. So this binder does red, blue, and white only. And so it sorts by color, then it sorts by rarity. So I haven't looked in this binder. This is the first time I've opened this binder since 2020. So it's been 4.5 years. So let's take a look at some beautiful history, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? This video has no real purpose, but just to update a little proof of record and data timestamp here. So we're looking at some gorgeous alpha. I wish I could get a little further out zoomed. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can without the camera getting too floppy. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we got some alpha raging rivers over here. Beautiful playset of alpha forks. Obviously some wheel of fortunes over here. And then on page 2 here we have, looks like some mana barbs. I love that rocket cur. We got some two-headed. We got an alpha Shivan up there. And then there's blinks here. Because now remember, these were the cards that as I accumulated, I ended up not sending off for grading back in many moons ago. So these are all the raw cards I didn't think would get, perfect 10s kind of thing. So that's it for the rares. We go to uncommons. You got burrowing. You got the dragon whelps. We got dwarven demos and more dwarves. We got the elemental. We got Rudy's wifey over here. We got some flash fires. We got the old Keldron warlord. Over here we got artillery and oriflame. We got stone giants and a couple walls. I know, it always blows my mind that the walls are actually uncommons, not commons. Troll. We got tunnel. And now we jump over to the common cards of the red. We have the alpha common disintegrates. So there's 12 right there. We got some dwarvens. We got a page of earth mines, and obviously back in the day, these particular earth mines were maybe, oh man, I'd say maybe 10, 20 bucks. And that was considered pretty pricey. I know the post-2020 era, the world is very different. False Orders, one of my favorite cards there. You got the old Fireballs, very symbolic. Fire Breathing. Grey Ogre, also known as Rudy. Hill Giant, the Rudy. Hurling Minotaur, obviously very iconic card for Magic's history and the art. We got some dwarves. Ah, yes, Alpha Lightning Bolts. Everybody's always a big, there's 15, 369, that's 15 Alpha Lightning Bolts in Raw. Mons Goblin, old red elemental. And again, unlike Beta, this is like the Alpha IC Manipulator card. Certain cards have that washed out incorrect contrast when they printed, and the collector's editions and the Betas are all ugly and terrible and too dark, and the contrast and the coloring just doesn't look right in the saturation. So anyways, the Alphas always look the best there. We got Shatters. We got El Stone Rain. All right, so now we're jumping over to blues. So we got some stragglers here. We got some blue rares. Obviously, alpha copies. We got Brain Geizes. We got Aladdin from the 90s. Lords in a volcanic. Ah, yes. The old Mana Short, the beautiful rose there. And of course, I don't know why, but certain cards, I was always a really big fan of. So we got Drain Power over here. This was always a card that for some reason I was always obsessed with. So I bought a ton of alpha Drain Powers. I know, and based on knowing the exact data today and the print runs and size of everything, there's around 1,000 alpha rares that were ever made. And people argue that there's about half left in existence on many cards. And so, I mean, if there's maybe 500 of these in the world that are left in 2024 after 30 years, right here, well, you're looking at 9, 18, you're looking at 27. So that's 28 of the Drain Powers out of a potential maybe 500 left in existence. So obviously that's kind of a big deal. That's over 5-6% of the print run supposedly left that still exists this many years later. So kind of a crazy thing to wrap your brain around. We got a Magical Hack, another really cool card. I always thought it was just really cheap and silly, but I just really liked it. And that is a rare, so there's 12 Magical Hacks. Pirate Ship, another thing. We got 5 Alpha Pirate Ships. We got 3 of the world-famous Stasis over here. And, of course, one is it's a Richard Garfield signature on that one. Okay, you guys know I'm not a fan of that. And, yes, we have 3 Alpha Doppelgangers. And, again, you can see a lot of the blank spaces and things because, a lot of these cards, number one, I either add to it over time, and I wanted to leave slots on the clean pages over here because, as you all know, I don't reuse pages. If you're going to use 9-pocket binder pages like this, number one, make sure you store the binder correctly and you have a correct style of binder so you don't have binder dings. And these binders are not stored laying flat. They're stored vertically. So keep in mind the cards hang freely under no pressure. Nothing's pushing on them. Number two, whenever you use sleeves, because what causes the damage on cards, or if you're trying to keep them nice, is taking a dirty, heavy played card like the back of this one and taking it out and putting a mint card in it. There'll be residue and things that can scrape on the surface of the card if you're trying to get a pristine 10. So all these pages, as you can see, are like brand new, super clean. And after if I'm going to take these cards out and use it for something else, I'll throw the page away and I'll put a whole new pages just to lay it out there. Anyways, 3 doppelgangers. Air elementals, we got uncommons now. Artifact uncommons, clones uncommons, control magic uncommon. For the longest time as a kid, I always thought actually Counterspell was a common card. I think nowadays in some of the reprint sets in 2022, 3, 4, maybe it is, but yeah, a long time ago, these were not commons, and obviously they're known to be very off-centered in Alpha from a long time ago. We got some feedbacks. We got the old Life Tap of Rudy's, the Phantom Monster of Rudy, Psionic Blast, like the only direct damage in blue ever created back in the day. Of course, Sirens, Steel. I know, the walls. I used to, I kind of laugh at myself because now I look at these old walls and I kind of laugh because I'm like, who uses walls? So stupid. You can't win a game by surrounding yourself with water and air and putting walls. But, when I was young, I used to love, because again, when you're young, I didn't really care about winning or losing. I just wanted to build fun decks that would always be surprising and a new gameplay experience. And, walls was something I always used, man. It was something, and then when Ice Age came out and we had like illusionary wall and some different walls that were added, I always loved it. Water Elemental. Again, Blue Elemental in the commons. So now we're in the commons. Jumps, flights, a bunch of trash. Power Leaks, Serpents, Invisibility, probably my favorite. Merfolk, obviously. Merfolk! Obviously Timmy, the Sorcerer, of course. Blast, Spell Blast, Terrains. Of course, the world famous 13 Alpha Twiddles there. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to the white cards here. Even back in the day, in my opinion, this is a straight Rudy opinion, I still believe white is the weakest color in Magic. I've always felt that. My friends always felt that as kids. Obviously, in modern standards of human, cat, clerics, and all kinds of combo decks in modern day Magic, I don't know if that's really true anymore, but back in the day, I always felt the white cards in vintage Magic was always way weaker compared to a black-blue deck, Blue, black, and red, I thought were always super powerful. And the stompy green creatures and the elves and force and natures and crawl worms were always kind of the shit, White, I always felt it was a fun color to play, but I never felt it had the proper strength against some of the power levels that like blue possessed. Like blue was just outrageous, man. So what do we have here? Infamous Crusade, anime. Blaze of Glory. Again, another card I've always been a fan of. The art and, of course, the name of it, going out in a blaze of glory. I always thought it was just a really cool card, so I used to be a big fan of that. Blessing, Northern. And yes, make fun of me all you want. I know what you're going to say. Laugh at me, the stupidest rare card in history, but I'm going to reveal it. Here it comes. Rudy's Giant 25 Alpha Island Sanctuaries. Again, these are all raw cards, no graded cards in this video. Again, it was another card I was always a really, really big fan of. I don't know why. This was just something that I always thought Island Sanctuary was just a stupidly awesome card. And back in the day, these were like maybe $20 a card for an alpha rare. Nobody wanted them, so I just remember buying as many as I could. And again, based on the assumption that if you agree on the conspiracy theory that Rudy believes that around half of all cards from 30 years ago are probably still in existence. And of course, God knows the condition of some of those. This is probably another 5 to 7% of the print run kind of thing. Same thing, Personal Incarnation. This was a card that I was first introduced in when I was in 4th edition in 1995. And I built these really cool, cheesy little 4th edition. What was it? I think I did a black-white deck. I think what it was. And of course, Personal Incarnation, you can redirect damage kind of thing. And it was a really cool card. Looking back, I think the card kind of sucks in today's standards, but I think I liked it mostly for the artwork. I think I was more attracted to it because of the artwork and the feel it gave me than the actual mechanics of the card. Reverse damage, I always thought that card never got the appreciation. And reverse damage is rare, by the way, but I just never thought that alpha card. Righteousness, same thing. There was no better feeling than a 1/1 weenie. And someone swinging at you with fucking force in nature or some crazy crap, thinking they got no chance, and a 1/1 weenie hits with righteousness and becomes an 8/8 powerhouse. It was just, there were moments like that. Was a ton of fun, you know. Bodyguard, I always thought Ripped Muscle Man was cool. I never, unfortunately, never got that muscular and cool when I was a kid. Wrath of God, very iconic card. To this day, I've never been a fan of the board wipe type things. I understand the importance of a board wipe option if it's in a sideboard or whatever, depending on your opponent. But I was just never, oh God, I'm yawning a lot today. I was never a fan of board white cards, even if it's the black version of Damnation, whether it's a red version of a card or a white Wrath of God, no matter what version of it is. I never liked Armageddon, or do I have an Armageddon? I don't know if I did or not. I never liked Armageddon as I never liked land destruction and board wipes. It was just something I was never a fan of in Magic. Okay, boring stuff. All the uncommon alpha wards. Boring stuff. Karma, obviously great card. Great card. Lance, obviously great card. Resurrection, obviously very iconic card. And of course, probably the most infamous page in the uncommon slots of Alpha, you have the world's famous original printing, the very first Swords to Plowshare, and of course, the very first woman, the alpha woman of Magic the Gathering, the almighty alpha woman, Sarah Angel, that will never die. And moving into the Wall of Swords, one of my favorite wall cards back in the day. And of course, White Knight, Black Knight cards, Legends. Now we're in uncommons, by the way. Castles, land, conversions. Of course, now we're in commons. Disenchants and angels. Healers. Of course, Holy Armors, Samites. Coming up here, we got Pegasus. You got Benelish Heroes, Healing Salves, Death Wards, and of course, the boring COP land of Circle Protections. And that's really it in this particular binder. I think I was flipping through this. I was like, you know what? Grab the camera. I'm going to film a quick video on this just to show some fun stuff from the past. Obviously, in today's day and age, post-Magic 30 and everything, I don't know the set value of a binder like this in particular. It's kind of indifferent to me. If this binder could be worth 0, the binder could be worth, I don't know, 100,000 or somewhere in the middle. It's kind of indifferent because something like this is kind of an extension of me and kind of, I don't know how you want to say it, kind of my life's work of being in the card world for, 20 years at this point, 15 years being hardcore, 9 years of that was YouTube and public, in the first early days going slow and all that. I mean, this is more of an extension of me. A lot of these cards are from collections in the past. A lot of these cards are from different eras. A lot of these cards are just, cards that I went through years ago, and I pulled out the graded ones to send off the grading back. And again, remember folks, in 2005, PSA had just started grading gaming cards, Magic, and, that was it. There was nothing else. And even then it was met with a lot of criticism because nobody thought grading collectible cards that you could play with was a smart idea. It was met with a lot of resistance a long time ago. So that's really about it. I hope you all enjoyed a short little fun video here. I just wanted to share one of my binders. On this particular one, like I said, this is just literally rare, uncommon, and common of a couple colors from just Alpha. So as you can imagine, I have, there's another 5 or 6 binders of just the alpha versions of Raw. And then there's another 10 binders of just Beta, another 10 binders of just Unlimited. I think there's 5 binders of Arabian, 5 binders of Antiquity. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the Raw from the Vault, Rudy stuff. Obviously, I store them, just so everybody knows. Binders I actually store like this. So to give you guys an idea, sorry, minus the dust. So many times I'll store binders. Here, let me move it so you guys can actually see. How about that? I'll store a binder either vertically like this, so the cards will hang freely to prevent any damage or anything like that. Other times I also, in a big vault or safe, I'll store the binder standing up like this. So there's, again, I don't want pressure on the pages. So let's say like this front page curls around for a potential binder. I don't want a lot of pressure creating that. But if there's no actual pressure, even if this page with alpha rares pulls back here, if nothing's pushing on it, you're not going to have that binder ding. So I never store them long term or anything like that. If I have them flat, even though there's no binder ding here, but I mean, these are flat ringed, obviously binder. Let's pretend they're round. If this goes all the way back and you smush it, you'll create a binder ding on these alpha cards. So again, that's why I don't store them flat like this. They're always stored in a different position. But that's a fun fact. I know conversations on storage always come up every once in a while, and I thought that would be interesting. That's it. No real purpose to today's video. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day out there as we journey through a great year of 2024 with a lot of success in Magic the Gathering, a lot of success in Pokemon. We got Flesh and Blood with the hot sets, Sorcery doing really well, obviously Lorcana and One Piece, the new guys in the block, and even Star Wars. They're all really hot. Everything's doing very successful. You got a lot of white sets that have recovered, come off the lows. We've got new white sets doing really well. So in conclusion, across the board, from the Magic to Pokemons all the way down to the new startup, everything is doing the better. It's done the best it's done right now in the last couple of years, because obviously 2022, 2023 were just very rough on everything in the industry after the boom of 2020 and 2021. So hope everybody's able to enjoy that out there, and I hope in your personal situation, everybody is healthy and wealthy and moving forward. You guys have a great day out there.